So coffee shops are great, right? Sit, have a delightful cup of coffee, and watch everyone not talk, which is really weird. No. But here I was, sitting in a coffee shop, as I normally do, not talking to anyone, watching everyone not talk to anyone. And it occurred to me, why? This is weird. Isn't it normal for humans to interact with each other? And it occurred to me that we are, which is just without interacting with people. And this is weird, obviously. So I was thinking, and I came to the conclusion of what that is. What is sitting in a coffee shop filled with people and not talking to anyone? And that would be individualism. And this individualism is something that America has been founded upon. Capitalism is based off of individualism, as opposed to communism, which is based off of collectivism. And throughout our entire history, we have, held very strongly to this value of individualism. But I want to talk specifically about the last about 50 years, starting around the 1960s or so. So in the 1960s, we get hippies. So in the 1960s, we have a radical movement of rights, all sorts of rights for all sorts of people. And during this time, we see that a lot of the ways that people define themselves are not by class or race, but by what group that they agree with. What rights should one person have? What side politically they're on? And this is again a sort of individualism. This differs from previous times, and there's a lot more collectivism previously. But while this is still individualistic, within those groups, you still had a sense of community. And this is great. So we have individualism and community at the same time. Now we have the yuppies. And the yuppies, the young urban professionals who come out in the 1970s. Now these young professionals go forth from the universities off into the big, brilliant city and carve out a name for themselves and for themselves alone. And they each, as a movement, as a thing, they are all just trying to carve out a name for themselves, singular. And again, we see another rise in individualism, this time with less collectivism. And then the television. The television, of course, had been around for good 30 or 40 years, but in the 1980s, we see that there's a rise in programming, MTV, and other sorts of news networks that would go on for all day. So we have programming all the time, and there's a radical shift, and this is where major shift happens, is here in the 1980s, where we have a screen in front of us, and we watch it alone. We could watch it with other people, yes, but we could also watch it alone. There's the invention of VCR, the video cassette recorder, which would allow you to watch television later, again, possibly alone. And so we see a decline in the number of social interactions, but it's not terribly major. People still talk to each other, in coffee shops, perhaps. Then the internet. The internet, of course, had been around for many years, but in the 1990s we see a rise of it. The internet was a beautiful and fantastic thing, and it led to great, fantastic social interactions over the internet. But this is without interaction, a physical interaction. With me to you is me to what I think is you. As they say on the internet, men are men, women are men, and little girls are FBI agents. So we see the internet, and it continues off into the 2000s and to the present day, with the rise of social networking, Facebook, MySpace first, all these sorts of things. And we also have cell phones, which are of course brilliant. I think all of us have a mobile in our pocket at this moment. Oh, mine's in my backpack. But again, we see that we can communicate with each other without actually having to be with each other. And this is, of course, the internet, the television, and the mobile phone have all add to this, that we are together without actually ever being together. And so we see individualism in a new form, a completely new form, that relies on everyone being constantly together while not ever actually being together. So we have today, and this is a map of Facebook. This map of Facebook shows everyone who's not actually with someone. And so we see this. We see coffee shops filled with people alone. And I think that's a terrible thing. But yes, this coffee shop aloneness has taken over 50 years to become a norm in our society. I think that's weird. Thank you.